that's to me what's going to be interesting on how teams look at building out their rosters moving forward based on what we saw with this championship.
Because success is going to create copycats. So they were able to do this. Now other teams, I think it is going to happen. They're going to try to construct themselves in the form of a Thunder or a Pacers.
Yeah, it stopped being, when Boston, had the Boston 3 party, it started to become like, all right, if we're top heavy with a couple of guys on the bench, we'll be okay. Yep. Now it really feels like they're going to be finding guys that fit the way that we play. Like, do you fit our scheme? And can we take if a gear falls out, can we put in another one and it still work? And, that used to be them Greg Popovich Spurs.
Big time.
It would be like, it'd be a bunch of people. I'm like, when did this dude get in the league? Right. Who is this?
Who is this
corner?
Didn't
3.
know.
Yeah, like.
But you know what? OKC going to have that situation come up soon because if you look at where their contract situation is at, a guy like Lou Dort, 3 more years left on his deal. Jalen Williams has 2 years left on his deal. They're going to have to pay him. Chet Holmgren has 2 years left on his deal. So those are the 2 right there you look at and say they got to get paid.
Yeah.
But what franchises and organizations are looking at too, I don't want to have to pay this first apron, second apron of the salary cap. See what Boston did now today or yesterday, they traded Drew Holiday. They may make another trade because their payroll was over $500 million. They're like, man, we need to get this thing down. Can we win and not have this exorbitant payroll?
Big names
that we have to pay. Now you got to pay. The thing about the salary cap is you got to pay 90% of the cap. But how you pay it and spread it out, so you're not so much top heavy and you can't move a contract. Say like a Bradley Beal, because he has a no trade clause. So you get stuck. So it's funny how we talk about copycat league, but how you have an idea just a few years ago of building a big 3 or big 2. Now it starts to shift, and we don't want to pay. We don't want to be heavy because part of what the salary cap and CBA was all about was being able to retain your own talent, your superstar. And paying them the supermax. My thing is, too, I like this. If you got a rookie, right, and you develop them, and now you want to sign them to a big deal, I would like to think that a certain percentage of that money only counts against the cap. That now you still have cap flexibility because you groomed this young man or these players. You should be able to pay them without being penalized because that's what's going to happen with OKC. You see what I'm saying?
Because then because if you don't have it like that, you start to make the small market franchises look like farming systems for the big ones.
They go look. OKC is going to have to figure out their payroll structure. Deshaun Wallace with Lou Dort
and they about to get another top 10 pick if they trade.
That's what I'm saying. So now they have to make a decision. Now they can, because they're flexible, they can lose a Lou Dort and slide somebody else in, but you developed them that whole time, and now you're getting hamstrung, and now you got to lose it.
I think the problem for everybody else with the Thunder is this. Their top 9 scorers are all under contract for the next season. They have no key free agents, and they've got 13 first-round draft picks in the next 7 drafts.
Thanks, Clippers.
I know really. Another thing is, I don't really recall anyone talking about this whole playoff, how much Paul George had a hand in developing the Pacers,
and the Thunder.
Both of those teams had key components who were on that team because of Paul George. So 13 first-round picks in the next 7 drafts, and no, we haven't had a repeat champion in a while, which makes me think that statistically, it probably won't happen, but I don't know. When you look at all this info and you see this team, it's like, how can you sit here and not think, okay, they got at least maybe 2, maybe 3 championships with this squad?
Yeah, but with the guys that's under contract. Again, Jalen is the one because he has 2 years.
He's the one that he
26, 27, his deal is up.
They got to keep him.
But, now his baseline is this. So you paying Isaiah Hartenstein 30. That's my baseline on where I'm starting this conversation.
So if you're paying him 30, I'm 45.
You see what I'm saying?
Sorry, dude.
And I think in the situation of them going back to back, when you become champion, and you know, just a tidbit, because TJ was talking about how this finals was, you know, just really all about, you know, if you love watching basketball, this was a great finals for you, which is something a Clipper fan has to say, because it's never about winning championships. He
now,
just
you know
loves
I work
watching.
For the Clippers, man.
Yeah,
so you throwing it at me too, right?
Just a rooster that don't crow no more, Jim Jackson. Anyway, as I was saying.
Yeah, okay.
When going back to back, TJ, going back to back, what happens when you are that, like, on display, where you are the team to win the championship? Now everybody is building to stop you.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying earlier.
Yeah, they're watching the Pacers and their game plan. Tyrese Halliburton getting hurt, we don't know if OKC was going to pull that game out. The man was hit 3 threes in a row, then went down.
7 points in 9 minutes or something
so
like that.
we don't know if OKC, we will never know if they were going to win with a healthy Pacer squad. So there is a formula to beat them out there. They went to Game 7. And now teams are going to be watching how the Pacers played them, working in the offseason, whether that is the players that they already have.
Roster construction. If they want to play like Indiana.
Exactly. So, I mean, back-to-back, it's hard to do. I mean,
there you go.
I guess, LeBron did go back-to-back. And then, Kobe. That's crazy. But anyway, yeah.
Check out new episodes of The Jim Jackson Show every Thursday. Watch on the Rich Eisen Show YouTube page. Follow the show on Instagram @Jim Jackson Show, or listen wherever you get your podcasts.